Hello viewers, my name is Andre Pranata Pranganangin, and today I want to presenting metallurgy, especially chapter 14 about heat treatment of non-ferrous alloys. This is the book that I use for study metallurgy for the non-metallurgist second edition edited by Arthur C. Rardon. Introduction. Non-ferrous alloys are heat-treated to tailor their properties for a variety of purposes, including aiding in recovery by reducing internal stress, promoting diffusion by redistributing existing alloying elements, promoting recrystallized grain formation, promoting grain growth, dissolving phases, producing new phase by precipitations from solid solutions, altering surface chemistry by the introduction of foreign atoms, and promoting new phase formation through the introduction of foreign atoms. 14.1 Recovery and recrystallization annealing. Annealing is a generic term used to denote a thermal treatment process that consists of heating a material to an aimed temperature and holding or soaking it for a sufficient length of time at that temperature, followed by cooling at a suitable rate. This practice is used primarily to soften metallic materials, but it also used to produce specific change in other properties or in the microstructure. When applied to relieve internal stress, the process is called stress relieving or stress relief annealing. 14.2 Heat-treatable aluminum alloys. Strengthening of non-heat treatable alloys is a result of a combination of solid solutions strengthening, work hardening, second phase constituents, and smaller submicron particles, typically 0.05 to 0.5 micrometer, called dispersoids, that retard grain growth. Through heat-treatable aluminum alloys include the aluminum copper series, the aluminum magnesium silicon series, the aluminum zinc series, and the aluminum lithium alloys of the series. These alloys achieve higher levels of static tensile strength, but with less of an improvement in fatigue and endurance. Cast heat-treatable aluminum alloys Cast heat-treatable aluminum alloys include the aluminum copper, some of the aluminum silicon plus copper and magnesium alloys, and the aluminum zinc alloys. By far the most widely used of the aluminum casting alloys are the aluminum silicon alloys with magnesium or cobalt. Cobalt alloys. In 14.3, cobalt is useful in applications that make use of its magnetic properties, corrosion resistance, wear resistance, and strength at elevated temperature. Biomedical application is another important use. The initial biomedical application of cobalt-based alloys were in the dental field, and early evaluations of these alloys show excellent wear resistance, corrosion resistance, biocompatibility, and mechanical properties when used in vivo as orthopedic implants. Hardening mechanisms for cobalt alloys involve solid solution strengthening, work hardening, or solution treating and aging. 14.4 Copper alloys. Copper can be hardened by solid solutions alloying and by work hardening. The commonly used solid solutions alloying elements list in approximate order of increasing effectiveness are zinc, nickel, manganese, aluminum, tin, and silicon. Heat treating process. Heat treating processes that are applied to copper and copper alloys include homogenizing, annealing, stress relieving, solution treating, precipitation or edge hardening, and quench hardening and tempering. The two types of hardening treatment are discussed in separate sections. Homogenizing is a high-temperature practice used to reduce the severity of chemical or metallurgical segregations that occurs during solidification. It is commonly used to treat many types of cast alloys. Annealing. As noted, annealing initiates the recovery and recrystallization of cold work metal and, if desired, grain growth after recrystallization. Annealing is primarily a function of time at temperature, and in the specific case of multi-phase alloys, including certain precipitation hardening alloys and alloys susceptible to fire cracking, cooling rate is also an important factor. Stress relief. Stress relieving is a process intended to relieve internal stress in materials or parts without appreciably affecting their properties, and stress relieving heat treatment are applied to wrought or cast copper and copper alloys. Precipitation hardening copper alloys. Edge hardening mechanisms are used in a few but important copper systems that include edge hardening beryllium copper alloys, edge hardening chromium copper alloys, and edge hardening copper, nickel, and silicon alloys. Most precipitation hardening copper alloys are used in electrical and heat conduction applications. Therefore, the heat treatment must be designed to develop the necessary mechanical strength and electrical conductivity. Spinodal hardening copper alloys are basically copper-nickel alloys with chromium or tin additions. Spinodal hardening involves a different type of phase transformations than that of precipitation hardening because it doesn't involve a nucleation step. Precipitation hardening involves the classic process of nucleation and growth, where fluctuations in compositions must reach a threshold for further growth. 14.5 Magnesium alloys. Heat treatment can improve the mechanical properties of most magnesium casting alloys. In most work alloys, maximum mechanical properties are developed through strain hardening, and these alloys generally are either used without subsequent heat treatment or merely aged to a T5 temper. 14.6 Nickel alloys. Nickel is an austenite former, and no allotropic phase transformation occurs in nickel or the high nickel family of alloys. The alloys are austenitic from the melting temperature down to absolute zero. Nickel has a natural tendency to combine with sulfur and oxygen. It is found in nature as nickel sulfide and nickel oxide ores. Edge hardening of nickel-based alloys. The addition of niobium, aluminum, silicon, titanium, and certain other alloying elements to nickel and nickel alloys separately or in combinations produce an appreciable response to edge hardening. The effect is dependent on both chemical compositions and aging temperature. It is caused by the precipitation of submicroscopic particles throughout the grains, which result in a marked increase in hardness and strength. 14.7 Titanium alloys. Titanium and titanium alloys are heat-treated in order to reduce residual stress developed during fabrication, produce an optimum combination of ductility, machinability, and dimensional and structural stability, or annealing. The response of titanium and titanium alloys to heat treatment depends on the compositions of the metal and the effects of alloying elements on the phase transformation of titanium. Like iron, titanium is an allotropic element. A microstructure feature of titanium alloys. Generally, two types of phase may be present in titanium alloys after heat treatment. Primary alpha, which persists through heat treatment as the remnant from prior hot working or processing. And secondary alpha, also referred to as transform B, which produced by transformation of B to a during or after heat treatment. As we can see that from image B, grain boundary region shows carbates MC or metal carbates that have precipitate in the grain boundaries. And from the image C, different sizes of gamma prime cubes generate during the aging phase, and fine gamma precipitate during aging at 845 Celsius and 660 Celsius. 14.8 Other non-ferrous alloys. Heat-treatable silver alloys. The precious metal, including silver, behave somewhat similar to copper and nickel. The most important silver alloys are the silver-copper type. Copper is added to increase the hardness and strength of silver, while its effect on the electrical conductivity is small compared to that of other addition. Heat-treatable gold alloys. The gold alloys, which find application in the jewelry trade and in density, generally contain silver and copper, and sometimes zinc, nickel, platinum, and palladium. The properties of a considerable number of these alloys are altered by different phase change. The copper-bearing gold alloys are characterized by the occurrence of at least two transformations in the solid state. Heat-treatable low-melting alloys, zinc, lead, and tin. Zinc-based alloys cannot be improved sufficiently by heat treatment to warrant the commercial considerations of such a practice. However, they exhibit some unusual irregularities in properties caused by precipitation and transformation process, which are of considerable importance in die casting. Both the zinc-copper and zinc-aluminum alloy system pose a phase change that affect the properties of die casting. That's all from me. to presenting about chapter 14 about heat treatment of non-ferrous alloys. Thank you very much.